Cole Caufield comes in clutch again as he scores his third overtime winner of the season on a snipe in overtime against the Red Wings. Matheson has a huge bounce back. Suzuki plays amazing. But before we get into that, we have some more Habs trade rumors intensifying, with the likes of Anthony Beauvillier and Jake Allen being named among potential trade candidates somewhere in the Montreal Canadiens organization. So stick around for all that on this episode of Habs Digest. Jesse, let's just open this up a bit with Anthony Beauvillier. Because let's be honest, I think this is maybe the least likely prospect of all of these. However, we're going to dive into this. A tweet from Grady Sass says it sounds like the Canucks are looking to move Anthony Beauvillier instead of Connor Garland now. Tocchet likes Garland's game with Bluger nearing a return and Höglander playing solid. There's a logjam up front. So they're looking to get rid of Anthony Beauvillier, who only has 1 year left at about $4-point-something million. And that's the exact kind of contract the Habs could take on, especially with the LTIR space from Carey Price's contract. So, like, in a vacuum, if Montreal were able to get assets in this kind of trade, it would work. However, Anthony Beauvillier, I feel like, still has some trade value. I feel like it wouldn't be as much of a dump. And also, Jesse, like, I've seen some people mentioning Beauvillier's name now, maybe going to Montreal, of course, the Quebec native, but I just don't know where I'd play him.
Well, that's it. And that's for the Vancouver Canucks. Like, that's why they're looking to make this trade. That's why whether it's Connor Garland, or either with Beauvillier, they just have, such a logjam up front. But guess what? We have the exact same issue. We just, even from the beginning of the season, of course, injuries happen and everything else like that. But we have some of these young guys, we know even Armia with some injuries, back in the lineup as well. So really, it's competitive right now. And it's like, it's not the worst idea in the world. But again, the question is those but who would you play them above, in our depth chart? And it doesn't seem like in the, for our top three lines, I don't really see him I don't know if I'd want him anywhere above where we have right now, which I mean is a nice problem for these Habs. So again, yeah, I get where the Canucks are coming from, but if I'm Kent Hughes, I'd probably pass on this one.
Yeah, it would take a hefty package to bring him in, right? You'd have to get a lot of decent stuff back. I saw some people throwing out the idea of Josh Anderson going the other way in this trade, but again, I don't see how that helps the Canucks, and I don't see why taking on a guy who has 4 years left on his deal for a 1 year in Beauvillier for similar production levels, at least so far this year. I don't see why they do it. There's maybe a world where it could happen again, Quebec native, and you never really know. But yeah, we'll toss this one up to the toss this in the unlikely pile. But the pile that's not so much unlikely is the Jake Allen pile. And look, I don't want to say we called it, but when we heard about the Jack Campbell trade rumors, we're like, I think Jake Allen makes a ton of sense. And guess what? It was pretty much confirmed. Not that one. This one. According to Elliot Friedman on 32 Thoughts, he said they've talked to Montreal, talking about Edmonton. They said they've talked to Montreal, which doesn't need a goalie. Of course, Montreal doesn't need a goalie, about the possibility of Jake Allen. He said, but I don't think anything is imminent. But we've heard they've talked. Edmonton, Ken Holland has called up Kent Hughes and said, listen, what about Jake Allen? And this is something that we saw from the get-go. We thought this was with Montreal having a 3-goalie situation, a lot of teams who need a goalie are going to be in demand, and they're going to look at a veteran like Jake Allen. If you're Edmonton, it just makes a ton of sense. But Jesse, you got to think that they're probably going to want to send Jack Campbell back in any eventual deal. Do you see any world where there is a way for the Habs to give up Jake Allen and take Jack Campbell back, and for Habs fans to be happy with the return?
I don't know. I think we kind of have some PTSD on some big contracts and everything else like that. So it's already the scrutiny on management is big here in Montreal. So it's any move that Kent Hughes makes, it's under the magnifying glass by ourselves and many other caring fans and everything else like that. I don't know if this is one that he wants to do, but they've definitely been in talks. But it's interesting to think that Friedman thinks this has a good likelihood of happening down the road, which, I mean, I definitely get where Edmonton's coming from. And if I'm them, I'm trying to do something sooner or later than to save my season. And I'd be very impressed if I'm Kent Holland with both the experience and the play that Jake Allen's been doing so far this season. So, I mean, for sure he's talked with Kent Hughes. It's just Kent Hughes hasn't liked enough yet the return of basically what he's getting offering, Otherwise, he would have made this deal yesterday. He doesn't feel like he's getting a big enough of a package yet.
Yeah, and I saw some people throw up some mock trades, and one I saw on the Habs subreddit was someone saying, what about something surrounding sending Josh Anderson the other way? You give Edmonton another skilled forward, which is never a bad thing when you have the likes of McDavid and Draisaitl around there. But you send Anderson the other way, who actually has the same term as Jack Campbell, just at $500,000 a year more. It's about 5.5 per year instead of 5 for the next 4 years. You send Josh Anderson the other way. You send Jake Allen the other way. You take back Jack Campbell, a little bit of draft compensation, maybe a first-round pick, plus Holloway, one of Edmonton's top prospects. In that world there, Jesse, like, I don't know about you, just before we move on to the game reaction, like, do you think like something like that, like a good prospect and like a first-round pick in sort of a Campbell for Josh Anderson swap while you're also giving around Jake Allen, like, do you think that trade-off would be worth it for the sort of potential future capital you could gain?
It is an interesting package, but I would say no. Like, I think the next time that the Montreal Canadiens will do a trade for a goaltender, it'll be for their number one. We're kind of playing around the periphery right now, getting Casey DeSmith earlier on the season only to flip him later on, very much looking like a backup. I don't think that Kent Hughes wants to keep on doing these type of lateral moves. I feel like if he's going to try and get a goalie, he's going to try and make a play that when we're bringing somebody in the next time, it's going to be that 1A to go along with Samuel Montembeault. And maybe Cayden Primeau the way that he played tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I can't wait. The Habs play Vancouver on Saturday night. I can't wait for the beautiful video tribute and jersey retirement for Casey DeSmith. What a Habs legend. It's going to be such a great reunion. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I think you're on to something. I think taking on Jack Campbell would just be a terrible idea, all things considered. But hey, you never know. Kent knows how to work some magic. But speaking of working some magic, it's time to jump into the game. Cole Caufield's clutch. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm so excited to talk about this game. This game has so many ups and downs. But before we get into that, we're just going to play our little Superman Cole animation because that is exactly what he is. He is super Cole tonight. He scores the overtime winner again. My gosh, what a game. This game, like I said, was there were so many roller coasters of emotions, right? From the Habs going up 1-0, what we thought was 2-0 on another Monahan goal, continuing his streak, but for it to be called back because Caufield was a toenail clipping offside. And then for the Red Wings to tie it up after that with a goal off the glove of I think it was Christian Fischer. So it's like just all this stuff going on, and then of course Suzuki scores, but then the short side goal by the Red Wings. Jesse was kind of all over the place tonight. As I'm gonna flash up the game thing here. But my goodness, what were your impressions? And like, I think we'll just start with Cole Caufield. This is also not accurate, by the way. Suzuki and Matheson each have one more assist. Because I took this before it was updated, but. Look, I could talk for hours. I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna let you take it away. But like, oh my god, I don't even know what to say about Cole anymore.
Yeah, well, Cole's a great place to start. Cole, cool his eyes, Caufield again. In overtime, it's just like clockwork. It's like the other team knows that it's coming, but they just can't stop it. It was nice to see getting our power play again being pretty effective tonight. So again, keeping that going, and that's what's very much contributing to winning hockey. I'm really hyped about tonight's game. For many reasons. What I like is that like we were able to get the lead early, so we weren't chasing this game. I thought that was huge. That was really important. It's like getting a lead, and then kind of protecting it. And then, having a pretty good second period. At least the second part of our second period was pretty good. And again, that was a big thing for us. It's like having that good second period. So, that's what I really liked is not chasing the game as much. It wasn't perfect all the same. It's like, we're taking too many penalties again at stretches. Kind of like in a cluster, and
like
then we kind of learn
to the box.
Yeah, just all at once, kind of thing like that. But at the same time, it's like I think that all things considered, they did good. We want to get a little bit more shots on net, but I really like the way, like even in the third period, the way that we were playing, like the defense. I thought they were doing a really good job of. For sure that they were getting their opportunities, tonight, our opponents, but like we were keeping them to the outside, which I thought was really big. And I thought Nick Suzuki, really taking ownership, of this team again, just being the captain and the star that this team needs, because scoring a beautiful goal, but like he had a couple opportunities also tonight to score a couple more as well.
He rang a couple posts. Like Suzuki was all over the ice tonight, and like I mean. Look, they split up. We didn't even talk about this. They split up Suzuki and Caufield tonight. But guess what? They both produced when each other was on the ice. No surprise. I mean, they worked together. I think they might go back next game. You never know. The Caufield, Dvorak, Slafkovsky experience was certainly something. Slav played a good game, I thought. But I think it's clear again that Suzuki and Caufield are meant to play next to each other. We saw that tonight. It was crazy. Matheson, Jesse, like after having a couple of brutal games, he showed up in a big way, a goal and 2 assists, a beautiful shot from the slot, and he was everywhere tonight. He made way fewer mistakes. He was playing solid defense, amazing offense, really, really good. And but we also got to talk about our boy Cayden Primeau. Guys, this is Cayden Primeau's first win in the NHL since December, I think late December of 2021. almost 2 years since Cayden Primeau got an NHL win. And Jesse, I thought he looked really, really good tonight.
Yeah, and I was really excited to see him play, see him between the pipes tonight, and he really didn't disappoint. And I thought at no other point, more so than really saving that game in overtime. You got DeBrincat coming in point blank, one of the greatest snipers in the NHL, and you're going to stop him like that. That was just unreal. For me, it's like he saved the game there. He's one of the heroes, and you got to feel like this is great for his confidence because like the team recognizes that when Cayden's making a save like that, like that's a good way of garnering some gratitude from your teammates when you're making a stop like that and really kind of saving the day for the whole team. So I'm curious to see like how this affects his play going forward because I mean a big win like this in overtime, playing well. We know for a young goalie, like confidence is everything. And this is, I think, a really big step for him and a really big game just overall for us tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm going to try something here, okay? I mean, Kaiden was confident. Kaiden and Cole, cool, calm, collected, carrying the Canadiens to a win tonight, really. It was those two guys playing phenomenally. That wasn't bad, right? I was trying to think of that while you were talking.
Good.
But that wasn't bad. But we got to show, like, Monahan, too. I mean, he also scored a goal, but he was called back. So, realistically, this is a 2-point night for Monahan, a goal, 1 assist. Obviously, it's not what you're going to see, but effectively it was. Because it wasn't an egregious offside. I still count those as moral victory points, but an assist still really, really good. Josh Anderson, that first line was interesting, Jesse. I guess before we close out the video, just quick thoughts on the first line. Anderson, Suzuki, Newhook. Do you see them working together again anytime soon? Because I mean, I get the Anderson Newhook thing, but I just felt like that line looked a little lost out there tonight.
I thought that Suzuki and Newhook worked well together. Obviously, they went well on kind of that first goal where Newhook just using his speed, right? He was looking really good in that first period. So I find that they can really work together really well. So that was nice to see. I'd be interested to see them, get a little bit more time together as well. And, for Anderson, you got to feel like he'll come. Like he got so close, a couple tips and just so close to that, right? Like it's going to be a matter of time. He's going to figure it out. It's just whenever a player goes through these cold streaks, that's when you start hearing him. It's like he's almost available for any trade, right? But he's going to turn it around. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Josh Anderson still ends up with 15 to 20 goals this season, right? But obviously he wants to get on that horse soon if he's able to do that. But like the key to his game is forechecking.
Yeah.
If he forechecks hard and he's skating, he really gets kind of into the game. And then from there, his goal scoring is going to come. So I saw him doing that, and that can be big for a team, utilizing his skating to really pin the other team down deep with some really good forechecking, and then that creates some really good opportunities in the neutral zone for the rest of the team for turnovers, everything else. So I'm happy to see him do that. He's doing the right little steps that are going to lead to success down the road.
Yeah, for sure. I thought he looked really confident tonight. I mean, his rushes to the net were good. Turning it over still a bit, but I mean, all the potential in the world is there, obviously. Josh Anderson's going to have it click sooner rather than later, hopefully. But like you said, he's doing the right thing. He'll get the opportunity, and hopefully, eventually, it'll pay off. But that'll do it for this episode of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Where I think we passed 8,500. I'm not sure if we did. And if we did, awesome. If we didn't, hit the subscribe button, so we do very soon. We really appreciate every single one of your support. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host, Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.